almost have all the steps together.
Okay, we are going live again, everyone. Welcome to the second Art Jam with Rodine and myself. Oh my God, we've both been so excited. We didn't know quite what to do with ourselves. But as we're starting, I'm going to light a candle. I always like that a candle because it's lovely to have little rituals around it. And for me, it's just drawing in our energy, spirit, intuition. And it's just one of those things that I can use as a focal point if I need be when I spin out, because art is not familiar for me yet. So Rodine, like to introduce yourself again.
Hello, everybody. I'm Rodine Eastfeld of Rodine Eastfeld Designs. And yes, like Chantal said, I've been excited too, because it's been 2 weeks.
It has been 2 weeks.
Met,
I know.
right?
I know. Too long.
Too long.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
And I'm Chantal, and I'm from Unfold Your Freedom, and I'm a holistic counselor, but also support women in business. Because what we don't realize was, well, I didn't realize was, and this is how Rodine and I started, was how much when you've been through a big experience that's just turned your life upside down, however that might be, it actually affects all aspects of your life, including running a business. So we just thought this is why we want to be together, just to chat, converse, show vulnerability, be open to what is, because I don't feel like I'm an artist. And I'm sure I said that last time. I look at Rodine and look at her and go, oh my God, how can I do this with her? So I'll hand you over, Rodine, so you can explain what you're doing and how this has supported you using art.
Okay. Yeah, art, since our last conversation, I've really been thinking about art in my healing process. And, I am curious about how it works for other people as well, because everybody's creative experience and healing is different. But I find that whatever I'm working on in my day-to-day life, those blocks that come up or the patterns that come up, I'll tell you, when I come and get in front of a canvas or get in front of a painting, I go head to head with them too. And it's very, very interesting, right? Yeah. Those whatever insecurities or the little voices that you hear when you're just doing day-to-day things, when I sit down and go to create, sometimes they come at me from the canvas, right? That resistance and the what in it. And I find that actually really helpful, because I get to sit with no judgment, with no nothing, and just go, okay, what is this? What am I hitting? And the beautiful thing is that my paintings support me in that, right? Because they just gently guide me and love me and just let me figure it out. It's really cool. So, and you're working on a journal right now too. Have you found that when you've been doing your visual journaling, your art journaling?
Oh yes. Oh my God, it brings every single thing up, as you can say. I'm not an artist. I can't do this. Who do I think I am? So it's really interesting to do that. And what I learned years ago, before I felt I could do art, you can be creative in so many ways, like how you wear your clothes, how you present your food, how you have your home, all those things come into play. So I think, again, we've been taught being creative, you need to be an artist.
Yeah.
And it needs to be painting, but no, it can be writing, it can be dancing, it can be woodwork, it can be baking, it can be in so many different ways. Once I got that, it was freeing. So like you said, I've now got visual journal. We talked about this before. So I've been using this. And like you said, it has been pushing my boundaries, because it also is telling me when to stop.
Oh.
Like, listen to your intuition. Because I found that really helpful. It's like a lot of my stuff is still busy, because my mind is still can be very busy. And that's normal when you've gone through something powerful. So see, I did this years ago, but see the busyness in that. As much as I love it, it was very busy. So I find it hard for me, even though I talk about sacred force, sacred space, sacred whatever, that I still can't always do it when it comes to my artwork. So yes, you're right. So the other day, I thought, right, I haven't got them in front of me, but I did something where I thought, right, I'm going to use one color background and then just simple markings with 2 colors. That was a challenge, even then, to stop. How many more markings do I need to put in there?
Is it finished?
Is it finished?
Mm.
Right, that's right. So, you know, and I think we talked about this before, and I want to hand you over, like when you get into that in-between stage, what did you call it?
Oh, we call it fugly, as in, you know, effing ugly, because you hit that middle place and when you step back, you go, oh, it's a mess. I just wrecked everything. How can I fix it? Right? Yes, that's the fugly stage.
And that's right, because that's what I've just been doing an online art course, and that's what she talks about. She calls it ugly, but I like fugly. Because I think that is how we are in life. You know, we want everything to be perfect. We want to be able to do everything, but that's not life. You know, and I think for me, it's childhood trauma that developed into complex trauma. I wasn't taught how to have expression and creativity and curiosity, you know, to be able to just go out and play and have fun. I think, so I lost sight of all of that. So I've taken that all the way through my life and all the way through how I run my business, rather than to be able to just explore. So this, for me, everyone who's watching, would love to hear your thoughts too. So doing this with Rodine now is hugely me stepping out of a comfort zone, me actually excited again that I no longer need to feel safe and have everything in place to just let this happen. You know, because we talked about this, and how's it for you? You know, the same sort of thing, or just put it in your own words, you know?
You know what it is? It is similar. It's interesting because I know that, you know, people are going to see this. And so here I am, and I am sitting with a painting that's in the fugly stage. I'm like, oh my God, people are going to see this. And then how do I fix it? How do I make it better? Right? It's like, so I have to just, it's going to be fine. The brush and the paint's nowhere to go. And of course, the key is shut off the brain, right? It's the brain that gets in the way.
Yeah.
So
it is the brains, and it's the ego thoughts, exactly whatever you're talking about. And that's what I love about allowing it. I know when I started doing with intuitive flow, I did a course a couple of years ago while we were in lockdown. It was beautiful because it really taught me how to bypass that you can't do this is ugly, this is wrong, you know, you can't do it right. And I found that incredibly freeing. So what I did a while ago, and this is what I'm going to be doing today, because ages ago, it was also something anyone who's watching might like to consider. I wrote myself a love letter. And it might be worth doing it every now and again. So I wrote myself a love letter in my visual journal, because now I've got it. Then what I did was I just decided to paint over it. And there's the mystery. You don't need to know what's behind it, because it's the energy, the energy behind it. So today I'm going to be using my pens, so my Sharpies, and a couple of colors, because again, I got this exercise from someone to write out a mantra. And write it out 111 times. And I forgot to look up why 111 times. So I did that in my actual writing journal. So I did that. And it was interesting to see what comes up. Because I don't know, what I've learned over the years is that I love myself. I believe in self. I can be a millionaire. I can create art. But what I realized was it never worked for me, because it was just simply words, because the thoughts got in the way. What I needed to do was go into the feeling. What was behind it? And that's what you're talking about when you do art. What comes up?
Yeah.
So that's why I found a lot of these sayings and mindset only didn't work for me. So I wrote this out 111 times, thinking I'd never get there, and I did. And again, because what are you doing this for? Why bother? Why 111 times? But it was also interesting to see how then I switched some words around. Then I did my own writing on it, what came up for me. And you know what came up at the end? I actually believe it. I own it. I believe it. I feel it.
Oh,
Ooh, that was so nice. So what I'm going to do is the same today. It's I love, honor, and respect myself. So anyone who's here with us, hand on your heart, nice deep breath in, close your eyes, and just say to yourself, I love, honor, and respect myself. Simply tuning into your body. Keep saying it to yourself. What's coming up for you? Then, as we keep talking, it might be just worthwhile sitting there and seeing what other words come up. So I had, I love, respect, and cherish myself. I love, respect, and hug myself. So then I turned it into mine. Because if it doesn't belong to you, if it doesn't sit, as you said, if it doesn't go past the thought and the ego in this and come right into your heart, well, guess what? You can say it till the cows come home. It actually won't be effective. Well, that's been my experience. So anyone love to leave a comment and see what you think. So today for me, I'm going to write it out on my book, starting, and then I've got my colors. I'm going to make pink, and I'm going to pink the red and white, and I'm going to have green, and then I'm actually going to paint over it lightly. See what stands out, and then if I can, I'm going to do markings on it, but keep it simple. Because for me at the moment, it's about keeping everything simplifying.
Beautiful.
It's so easy to keep things complex and complicated, and
because that's what we've been conditioned to believe needs to be happening. Right?
Exactly right. Exactly
that whole
right.
thing, and the same with being busy, right? Busy.
Yeah.
It's like, no, step back, right?
Yeah. Exactly. It is about stepping back. It's about creating that space of doing, being. And I'm just going to start writing some stuff. I've started writing on Substack. Yay, because I no longer have my website blog. And I want to eventually start writing about the divine feminine, the divine masculine, because it's about creating harmony between the two. It's about being able to have strategies, have goals, which we stay too much in, because that's where success lies, or how society defines success, making money and all that, versus the divine feminine, which is the creative flow, intuition, which is the container that holds the masculine. And for me, it's at the moment, I've swung from being too much in the masculine, particularly after the car accident, where that made me feel safe because I didn't know how to stop. It was too scary to stop. To then going the other way to being and only with spirit and all that, because that felt safe. So I was bypassing what I was really feeling to coming back into bringing both together and going, oh my God, this is so amazing. And that's how art has helped me as well, being one of the tools that I've used to help me,
That's beautiful. When you were walking us through repeating the mantra, it's interesting. You can feel hitches even when you do something that seems that simple.
That's right.
Right? So being able to breathe through that and feel, like you had said, feel into it, to let whatever is causing that little hitch to just, to exhale it, to let it go and let it just be. We forget, that's only something even that I've learned over the last couple of years, to allow yourself to do.
Yes.
Instead of feeling like, oh, now I have to fix this, I have to analyze this, I have to figure out where this is coming from. No, you don't. You can just breathe. Just let it sit there and let it go.
That's right. And the other thing that I taught as well is by sitting there, like you said, let it be, let it also arise to let it be. That's what I'm learning, because in the stillness, whether that be meditating quietly, walking, doing whatever, it's allowing things to rise, like you said. And I just, as you were writing, I remember I wrote, I love, honor, and listen to myself. Because that's where I think a lot of what we do when we do only talk therapy, only mindset, or only we're external, only having tarot card readings, only having that. You know, I've been a lot into Akashic Records. It's still external. But what does it mean to be in here? To listen to your or our own wisdom. So again, should we just pause for a moment?
Yep. I would love
And just take a nice deep breath in. I like to put my hand on my heart, put anyone just to connect. Take a nice breath in. And let's just say to ourselves, I love, honor, and listen to myself. I love, honor, and listen to myself. You take a nice deep breath in, everyone, just coming back. Oh, how did that feel?
That felt lovely.
Yeah.
And it was much easier than the first one.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. Yeah.
Very.
And see, again, for me, this is like your thought. For me, that's telling me that this is the one that is right for you now. Like this is the one that resonates, whereas the other one didn't. And again, it might be with the other one, you look at allowing it to arise. What is there that is perfect. So
Go on. Sorry.
No. I was just going to say that's how I work with people. That's how we do this, is sitting with people to really feel it. Sorry, go on. What were you going to say?
That's so beautiful. Like being able to have someone to do this with, someone to guide you when, and as we said at the beginning of today, right, where you feel safe enough to be able to really sink into it, to allow it to move through your body, right?
Yeah.
Because we can often get teary-eyed, right? Those things can come up and you don't want to choke it down. So what a beautiful gift, right? To be able to do and to work with someone through that, because it gives. So if I were coming to you, that would give me that feeling of safety and being taken care of, that especially when we're dealing with trauma, we don't really know how to do that for ourselves, right?
That's right.
And it's hard to let someone else do that for us.
Yes.
So how wonderful.
Thank you. And I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. Because that's also what was given to me. You know, thank you. And I asked my counselor recently, because I'm writing my memoir, and I wanted to ask her how I was when I first went to her, when I was in that, when she first met me, and what did she do? And she said the first thing she does is make you feel safe. So when you walk in, because it's about building that trust, you feel safe, building that trust, because you're coming in incredibly vulnerable. And you need someone to be able to hold you without judgment, like you said, and be able to take you where you need to go. But you know that you are being taken there with someone who will protect you, hold you, to also bring you back out. Yeah.
That's tremendous. I mean, that really is. And for anybody who sees this and who has gone through an experience of whatever kind where they're dealing with that, I think everybody will be able to relate to that completely, right? That, and when you find it, it's such a relief, really, right?
It is a relief. It is a relief. That's exactly right. And you know, we find it hard, because I went to therapy initially, then I thought, oh, I'm done. So then I went into the spiritual aspect. You know, not realizing that actually I wasn't done and that wasn't actually enough. Because I think a lot of we don't know how to ask for help. We feel embarrassed. We feel ashamed that we need so much help. We need more help. Of course, there's time, energy, money comes into all of this. But, you know, in the end, what I realized was, why would you want to stay in that place of just chugging along in life when you could actually really lead life, explore and have fun again? And feel safe to do so.
but it takes time to get to the place where you're willing to allow that, to even allow the thought of that possibility in, right?
That's exactly right.
Like you want it so badly. Like I remember right at the beginning when I realized, okay, this was it. I was so shut down. And now I just lost my train of thought. Dang it. Oh, still happens.
Of course, it'll come back. It'll come back. It'll come
It'll
back.
come back.
And that's also part of why we do these conversations, because this is exactly what happens, you know, in life. And yet we feel embarrassed and ashamed that it shouldn't. Again, it comes back to all this perfectionism and these little tiny nuances that we want to share with you and with everyone who's watching, because this is life and this is learning how to deal with it, because this is what can hold us back from being visible, from wanting to put ourselves out there, from wanting to be adventurous and creative and stepping out of the mold, you know. And I'm doing this in business. I no longer want to do it that way. You know, somehow we've got caught up in the last how many years since it's gone. We have to do things a certain way. Of course, that tied into how I'd been as a child. I had to live a certain way, and as a woman, as a girl, a certain way. Why? We need to unbind ourselves from, untangle ourselves from all of that. So is there anything else you'd like to say because we could carry on. We keep, well, I'm sure we'll say this in every single live that we do.
Always going to be able to keep going.
That's right. Knowing when to stop.
That's true. Oh, and have we hit our time already too?
Yes, we have. We're just about up to time. Yes, I know. It goes very fast. I know.
Well, I'm going to throw in one quick thing before we do wrap it up. And it ties beautifully into this. So, and it's just made me realize how far I have come to in my own healing process. So last night I was drifting off to sleep and I was, you know, not fully asleep. But then I noticed anxiety was popping up for I don't even know why. And of course, it's like, oh, do I need to get up to think about this? And you know what I did? I just did basically what we were doing. I just said, I recognize you. I see you. You're welcome here. But we're okay right now. We are okay right now. And of course, thank you for showing this to me. And I just breathed through it and it dissipated so quickly and I didn't have to get up. It was like almost like a subconscious, dreamy kind of thing. And I just did it. And then that was it. Beautiful. So isn't that interesting? I was like, oh, I kind of did that last night. So
yeah, and it is interesting. And what it is, it's also showing when we find tools that work for us, that suit us. Initially, they don't come easily because they're new to you. But look at what you did. Suddenly it becomes not automatic, but it becomes part of doing it. And I love that. I recognize you. See, I use the word acknowledge, accept, be, but it is, I recognize you being here, letting it. Thank you for sharing that. That's really because these are the things that each of us, I feel we need to have, but again, in our own way. Yeah. Or our own words. Yeah. You know, so that was a gift. Thank you for ending that on that way.
Thank you for listening.
You can do that anywhere, anytime, can't you?
Yeah. Just
stop, pause, breathe. Okay, anyone who wants to leave any comments or leave any of your artwork, particularly on Facebook, you can do that. You can put in the comments if you feel comfortable doing that, because this could be a little bit of a tester for you. It could be a bit of a challenge. It might be, the other thing you could do is, sometimes I do this, you might photograph part of your art that you love. It doesn't mean you need to do all of it. The part that you feel safe to put on at the moment, do that, because I'm doing it more on Instagram and Facebook, and the more I do it, the more I love it. And look, doesn't matter whether people like it or not in the end, because it's the energy and the story behind it, you know.
Absolutely. Well,
lovely.
Thank you again for another wonderful chat, and thank you to those of you that tuned in. I didn't see any comments, but that doesn't mean that there aren't people watching. So For those of you
Yes.
catching us live or on the replay, we hope that you enjoyed yourselves, and that, you know, maybe you get to take a little bit of love home with you tonight. Or
Yes,
when you
I
get
love
to see it.
Yes, or something. Or I know the other thing they might like to do, if they don't want to share pieces of artwork, share what words they'd love to use. I love and honor, or whatever it was, and yours changed too. Even put that out there and let us know the process, like how it made you feel. And we'll definitely get back to you. See you next week, this time next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.